you have to understand the differentiation between a family holding and a family office. What is entrepreneurship? How do you become an entrepreneur here? Repetition, repetition, repetition. I'm trying to problem solve. It's been a tough week mentally. It is very hard to raise money. It's not easy. Persistence, and you've got something that adds value. So welcome everyone back to my channel. It is Sunday, 6:25. I'm just preparing my week. When I first came to the Middle East, Sunday was a working day. And it was the best day because the rest of the world was like sleeping, meaning like emails never really came back to me. It was a chance to really get my stuff done, right? So I use Sunday. It's like one of my most efficient times. If I do not work, and I say work in a nice way, it's more just planning. If I do not spend about an hour minimum on just looking at the week ahead, if there's any booking calls that need to be done, meeting, honestly, it makes my week so much more efficient, just that hour on a Sunday. And it's a habit that I've inherited. As I said, Sunday used to be a working day here in the Middle East until, was it this time last year? Have we done a full year of Monday through to Friday? So yeah, I think all my goals are set for January for now. You know, I think things change every day, but launching new accounting business, I think I've come up with a new event concept because I'm always quite frustrated of how events are operated around the world. The startup founder never really gets enough value, so I'm trying to find a way of how to give you back that value. Now, I'm just about to post my first episode of my vlog one. So from last week, it was a bit businessy. Like obviously this week I wanted to be a bit more personal. I'm sitting in my home, it's a Sunday, I'm preparing for the week. But I'm nervous. We're about to post this. We're ready to go. It is, as I said, 6:30. I normally keep it around 6:30 because that's the time my community are expecting my post. And it's all about being consistent on LinkedIn. I've told you that before. Consistency is so important to build a community. You can't take over the whole world, but you can build a community around a specific time. It's finally here, episode 1 of my vlog 2023. Let's do it. So let's do it. On to the week. So it's Monday morning. I'm off to the gym, 6 o'clock in the morning. I have to go to the gym early because I never end up going to the gym at the end of the day. I learnt that a couple of years ago. I'm always so knackered towards the end of the day. I'm sure a lot of you feel like that. So I have to get up early and get the gym done, otherwise it never happens. Then I have drive to Abu Dhabi and I should be in the office by about, 8:39. Which is a great feeling, ready for the morning, but not too hard of a workout today. I was quite active over the weekend. Did a bit of cardio, did a bit of back, just to kind of get me going. And as I said, the reason for this is mainly because it makes me feel so better going into the week, better going into the day. And when I want to eat a piece of chocolate at lunch, I don't feel so bad. Off to get ready now. I'll show you what outfit I'm wearing today. I bought a cardigan, which is a bit of a fashion statement from Zara. So I'm gonna wear a cardigan, a tie, white shirt, blue trousers, black shoes, and see how it goes. Bit of a British traditional fashion statement. It's probably from the Second World War, but let's see how it goes. See you in a bit. Unbelievable. I feel like I'm gonna look like my granddad. I'll show you. Absolute bargain. So here's the finished product. What do you think? Let's zoom in on the cardi. Let me know your thoughts. It's a bit suspect, this cardigan. Look at them pockets. And that is a cool tie. Old Spitfires. Looks like I'm about to go and work in a war post office or something. Anyway, on to my day. I live in Dubai and I commute to Abu Dhabi. Why is that? Well, I think, to be honest, there may be a chance this year I may have to move to Abu Dhabi because so many things are going on and I keep committing to things, setting up businesses, all these types of things. But who knows? But life in Dubai is good for now. So it's hard. So I'm making the commute 2-3 times a week, which, it's about 3 hours of driving I have to sacrifice and long days. But it's worth it. So in the race car, and we're racing down. I've possibly got the loudest car in the car park, a big American car. So on to my day. And I'll take you through the rest of the day actually, because I want you to see a full day, what it entails for me, and tell you a little bit more about what I get up to, because so many people on LinkedIn say, Obi, it seems like you do so much. So how do you focus, or how do you get things done? So I'll let you know specifically more when I get to the office about what I do, my responsibilities to people or to businesses. I am sorry, neighbours, but I have to start my car. I wanted to talk a little bit about Monday. Tough to get into the week. Been to the gym this morning, had a good breakfast, drank loads of water. I've sat down in the office, I've done emails for about an hour. Now I'm trying to achieve some of the things I set out yesterday. Wrote a to-do list of what I want to achieve this week, and now I want to start getting through that before I say the West and everybody kind of gets back online and things start getting mixed, because we all do it, right? The email box, you reply accidentally at the top, then you get distracted, and then things start getting battered down. So I wanted to read something that is quite relevant to entrepreneurs, and I really want to touch on entrepreneurs in this vlog. Or especially this week's vlog, because I think it's important. I think January and also 2023 is a year that a lot of people are going to be struggling in a corporate structure. We're seeing a lot of companies sack people, maybe not because you're bad at your jobs. Remember this, if you've lost a job, it may not be because you're bad at your job. It's just because technology is eliminating jobs, and also specific skills that we used to have are now being less relevant. So it's important for us to learn new skills, and I'll touch later on that in the future through some of my other vlogs, because I'm very much involved with the reskilling and the upskilling of especially this population. The philosopher Aristotle said a lot about habit, and I think entrepreneurs, they struggle with habit. They struggle with routine, because when you work going back to when I was at university, I think some of the summers were the most peaceful summers and the most peaceful parts of my life that I've ever had, because I woke up, I caught the train from the south shore of Long Island in New York, from the place called the Five Towns. I changed at Jamaica, so it was about half an hour drive, changed at Jamaica, a half an hour train journey, changed at Jamaica, another hour to a place called Westbury. Then I would ride a bike from Westbury to Old Westbury, which was about half an hour. Sometimes I did that with my golf clubs on my back. And that commute in itself was about 2 hours every morning. So I left about 5:15, I caught the first train, and I had to be there around 7. Before just around the sunrise is coming, or maybe sometimes a little bit early, because I had to be ready to help and prepare for the day at the golf course. All the members were turning up, whatnot. I won't bore you with that. But my point is, it was routine. I was there 6 days a week, every day except Monday. 6 days a week, the same day every day. Same lunch, same breakfast, fell asleep, woke up, did it again. Repetition. And I was at peace. It's probably the happiest I've ever been. I didn't have a stress in life. I enjoyed it. Met so many good people. I was playing golf. I was outdoors. I was walking every day. What's not to like? Enjoying nature, exercising, meeting new people every day, having a bit of fun. Now, going back to what Aristotle said, he said, the character develops over time as one acquires habits from parents and community, first through reward and punishment. Now, punishment's a bit of a strange word. Let's call it failure. So looking at the entrepreneurship side, failure is so important, because I think a lot of people who aren't entrepreneurial, when something bad happens, they complain. They blame others. They say, it's not my fault, it's unfair. The real entrepreneurs wake up and they go, well, what's next? They brush it off. It hurts. They learn from it and they brush it off and say, right, what's next? What can I take from that and build what I was meant to build? So really, if you're looking at the UAE, there is not much entrepreneurial spirit yet, which makes it a bigger opportunity for people who have ideas, because we've got no strong leaders here. I mean, we had Kareem, which was I call it a copycat from the West, which made good margins on labor costs here. But we've never really had a good tech company start here and somewhat finish here, meaning it sold its shares on a public market. So I really wanted today, and kind of through this week's vlog, is to really focus on what is entrepreneurship, how do you become an entrepreneur here. There's such thing as an intrapreneur. How do you become an intrapreneur? What does that mean? It means if you're in a corporate structure, you can start a business within the corporate structure. And I think the one thing, again, as an entrepreneur, time is so valuable, because I'm a plate spinner. I spin so many different things. I sometimes regret that, and I think about that. Should I be focusing just on this? Hard to say, right? I'm not an expert, but I enjoy the unknown. For me, I'm very comfortable building a pipeline for 3 or 4 months and not earning a penny out of it, even longer. Because if I work hard enough on something, if I'm consistent enough on something, and there's customers, then you're going to get something back. It's just really a matter of, will it grow to a certain size that is satisfying for you? So, I owe a lot of you a little bit more about me. Helps you understand why I'm doing this vlog. Helps you also understand a bit more about my motives, my incentives. So think of it this way. I came over to the UAE. I set up a holding company. I did a bunch of different things, from tech contracts, and I raised some international companies some money, which allowed me the liquidity to then go and do other things. Over time, built relationships here, understood the culture, and this was about 3.5 years ago. So I haven't been here too long. I may look like I've been here for a lot longer, but I haven't. My goal was always, and I worked for a family office in London, and my goal was always I wanted to have a structure like his, where it's a holding company and multiple different businesses underneath. But I learned quite quickly that you need cash generators. So you need businesses that are a necessity, not a luxury. Meaning you need businesses that people consume no matter what. The market goes up, the market goes down, doesn't matter. People consume this because it's part of our daily habits. It's a regulation that you must need. It needs to go from A to B. No questions, no ifs, no buts. So I built a few companies that do that. Once they have enough cash, I then do all the crazy stuff. I invested in crypto. I put money into SPVs during the 2020, I would call it, uptick in the public markets post-COVID. Yeah, when I have enough liquidity, I do stuff with it. Last year, I also launched a VC fund, which invests in early stage venture, specifically in cyber and fintech at the moment. That's regulated out of Abu Dhabi. But for me, I recently joined, part of this Abu Dhabi SME focus, really to how do we get more cash into startups here? How do we make more people's dreams come true? How do we make Abu Dhabi the platform where everybody wants to be? Given that we have so much cash around us, how can we get it to the small business owner? So that's my mission for 2023, and it gives you a little bit of perspective about me. And I think this week's vlog is more about what I do on a day-to-day basis, a bit about my motives. I'm a bit of a lone ranger. I have obviously people I work with, lots of different partners, but for me at the holding level, it's just me. I speak to my family every day. They're my mentors and the people who kind of give me a bit of advice. I have a father who is very experienced in the business world, been through lots of different ups and downs, stuff us boys, my 2 older brothers and me, have learnt from. So it gives us a lot of help. I'm working from home today, and it's I'm not trying to make any of you jealous, but working from home in Dubai is not too bad. I'm having my coffee, 9 dirhams, So nothing posh. This is from a supermarket. No posh Starbucks or anything like that. But if I turn around, I got the big old Burj Khalifa behind me. Lovely, relaxing, like spa music going on. And it's just right outside my house. So I come out here, a little bit of thinking time. I already had a meeting this morning, first thing. So I met a startup founder from the UK, setting up a fintech business here, moving everything here. Like many, trying to understand if the UAE is the platform for them. Culturally, business, everything's a bit different here. Took him a few months to understand that, but no, he's enjoying it. Now I'm going to see if I can help him. There's a lot to do here in the fintech space. Banking is catching up, payments, insurance, SME lending, all this type of stuff. It all needs tremendous development. It's there, it's not nothing like Europe or the US. Cool, the sun's bright. And this is another thing, if I flip the camera around, right? If I zoom in, be patient with me. I'm still working this stuff out. But over there, I leave my phone, my wallet, my passport, everything. And I don't have a worry in the world to that ever going missing. If I just walked into the mall, I could just keep walking this way. And I just have no worry. This is the best thing about this country. Literally no worries about any valuables. Imagine if you've got kids here. I mean, I don't have kids, but if you've got kids here, you just let them go down to the school bus in the morning. This is my point about just life here outside of business. I think this week's vlog, I wanted to talk more about life outside of business as well, because it's a very entrepreneurial country, which is great. But again, it's just good life. I think that's something I'm trying to realize. I've worked so hard for the last 3-4 years to build a business here, move my life here. I forgot about my surroundings, how to enjoy life, how to take time out, really look at the small things of why this place is so beneficial to me. But yeah, they're building, look, some structure in the water, standard Dubai. They've just had the Beyonce perform here. Was it first time in 5 years? It's all going on in the Middle East. Is it my life? Ever since the COVID life is completely... Don't fall asleep. Am I that boring? Anyway, exciting news. I've just got the group CEO and the CEO of Eand Life to take a call with one of my wonderful startups. A guy called Khalifa Al-Shamsi and another guy called Hashim. Good feeling when that happens. It was a... I've been trying to get them since December, and obviously it's been slow with Christmas and the New Year, but I think it's important for a lot of you guys. Man, chill, mate. Right, enough. No play with the wires. Down. I think, back to my point, is persistence. You get there eventually. As long as you're not annoying and you're respectful, persistence, and you've got something that adds value. I mean, this is a fintech business that can be integrated into many of their businesses. I think every telecoms network, Eand, by the way, if you want to Google them, Eand Etisalat, one of the biggest conglomerates here. God knows how much cash they've got. They obviously want to innovate. They want to move into new industries. I believe they want to get into banking, lending as well. Hence, fintech makes sense to them. So, yeah, as I said, big meeting. Good way to start the day. I think it's done quite well. It's done, give me a second. We are at 200,000 impressions. Now, I put names such as Al-Abwadi, Al-Guerrilla, Al-Hattor, Futain, Gargash, Nabuda. These are all very big family conglomerates. Now, I just want to show you the difference. So, from my knowledge, let's pick a Habtor, for example. Habtor, from my knowledge, do not have a segregated managed account, meaning can't really be called a family office. Now, Majid Al Futain do have a segregated managed account called the Majid Al Futain Trust. And I found this out, and this is where you've got to all sit here and hustle a little bit on LinkedIn. If I type in Majid Al Futtaim. Right, let me flip the camera around. We've got Majid Al Futtaim here. If I click on Majid Al Futtaim, it takes me through to a ginormous company, very successful. Now, if I look at some of the connections I have, there should be a gentleman here. So you got corporate development, global real estate. Is actually maybe I'm not connected with him on LinkedIn, but anyway, I know there's a guy in Majid Al Futtaim. So let's look at the employees. 19,000 employees. There's a guy called David. Davidi? There you go. Executive Director of Majid Al Futtaim Trust. Let's connect with him. I thought I was already connected with him, but I'm not. I have his email and we've spoken, but... So back to my point is, so for a lot of you from Europe, US, Asia, who are used to family offices being quite sophisticated, they know how to invest in public equities, fixed income, they have a lot of knowledge on private credit, private debt markets, or non-performing loans, you name it. Someone like David at Majid Al Futtaim Trust, yes, has a lot of knowledge in it. They have a mandate to invest in it. They're quite liquid. But if you look at a Ep2, for example, I won't go through the example. You can do it yourself. They don't have that segregated account. So going to them as a big PE fund or a venture capital fund, in my eyes, is a waste of time. Because unless you've built a relationship for 2 or 3 years with them, how are you going to get to convince them to charge a 2% management fee when they are an operational holding that make money out of real estate assets, industrials, consumer-driven businesses, and you're telling me that I'm not going to get money for 6 or 7 years, plus you're going to take 2% out of that pot? They just don't have that managed account, number one, to invest in you. Number two is they don't really have the sophistication to start chucking money to different managers. I don't know if I've made sense, but my point is you have to understand the differentiation between a family holding and a family office, because a family office does exist in the UAE, in the Middle East, but not a lot. Family holdings exist everywhere. Very successful. Very successful. But if you run in that front door and start pitching, I'm the best VC manager in Silicon Valley, to a family holding, they're already looking at you saying, wow, thanks for coming to pitch to us. Like, I already feel blessed that you've come to pitch to me, but I'm going to listen to you and learn from you, but I have no understanding of how we could ever invest in something like you. So I think too many people fly into this country and have this expectation on there's loads of family offices. There's not. There's loads of family holdings, which is different to a family office. Therapy Tuesday time. Been a tough week mentally. I've had a lot of heart palpitations, I call them, where I get these big rushes of adrenaline. It's like it's hard to explain. It's like somebody treading on one of your main arteries leading up to your heart and then letting go. And it goes bang in my chest. And I am so stubborn. When you become a business owner or an entrepreneur or somebody who just wants to do everything themselves, I think when it comes to listening to a therapist, it's hard because I'm so used to doing things myself. So for the last 3-4 years since I've been having this, I've always thought I could do it myself and get better. So this is quite a big thing for me. It's not cheap, it's expensive. I mean, I'm paying like, let's do American terms, it's like $130 for half an hour. I do hour sessions, so you do the maths. So it's not cheap, but it's hopefully it's worth it. It's my second session. He has given me some type of medication, which I'm always very nervous taking. But back to, I guess, why I'm here is I told myself this year I wanted to improve my personal life because then that helps everything in the business life. And I think one of my biggest issues to why this happens to me is I got into this routine of if I'm not doing something or if I'm not busy with work, I feel as if I'm not achieving. I feel as if I'm underachieving. I also don't like letting people down, so I kind of take that burden upon me. Also social media, every time I post on LinkedIn, I get this kind of thought that What if somebody doesn't like it? What if somebody writes something bad about me on the internet? And I think a lot of this is out of my control, but it's easy for me to say that because my mind thinks different. So yeah, these sessions are going to help me in the business world and the personal world. But again, any business owner, whether it's paying salaries, hitting targets, winning new contracts, losing things, it all plays with your mind. I barely sleep. You see all these guys on the internet say that, billionaires and millionaires sleep 3 hours a night. Okay, that's probably true. I don't think it's a choice. If you're a billionaire or millionaire, self-made, I guarantee that they would love to sleep longer, but they can't because their mind just doesn't switch off. So yeah, my appointment starts in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to make my way up. I'd love to show you the sessions, but I wouldn't love to show you them because they're private, but I can tell you what I've learned every week. But last week was more of a get to know him. He prescribed some soft medication for me to use. Has it worked? A little bit, maybe. But what I want to achieve today is kind of start laying out some things to change in terms of my lifestyle. What can I change? Because medication, I kind of see as an easy answer. I don't like the easy answers. I like the challenges. I don't like anybody trying to give me a short-term solution. I kind of want to solve it myself. So let's see, all for the best. Good therapy session. I guess in short, I need to do more things away from work because I don't have, if any, it's not embarrassing to say, but I can say it, a lot of friends here, outside of work friends. So his message was, there was a lot more to it, but to do more outside of work, go on more holidays, look after myself, have more social life outside of it. So yeah, all in all, good meeting. But I actually spotted, God, this is terrible, I'm thinking about work. I actually spotted a family office next door, which I know, and I'll show you, and I'll tell you a bit more about them. I shouldn't be thinking about work. I've just had therapy that says I should switch off. Terrible, can't switch off. So I spotted this out the window. So this is Gulf Towers. Now this is owned by a family. I can never pronounce it. I think it's called Bulhaiba. It is Abdullah Bulhaiba owns this building. They are one of the older families in Dubai, big in construction, built a lot of the infrastructure around here. Now they were one of the first families I ever met in the UAE. Lovely. And I guess my message is, and why I wanted to tell you is, I have never done business with them, but I see them a couple times a year just to say hello. I say it many, many times again on LinkedIn is you need to build relationships before you need them. There's lots of family groups here. If you look at any building, somebody's an owner of something. In this country, there's always a bigger fish or somebody who owns what you're looking at. I spent a lot of time with them. Lovely family. Get ready for the best view in Dubai, or the best road view. I miss doing my guerrilla marketing campaigns. It reminds me, I just, where I park my car, I've got my old cardboard signs, there you go. There was the one where I said, unicorns are built different in the UAE. Then my next one is, I think it's, Abu Dhabi Finance Week, where I stood out on the motorway and held it up. So yeah, I've got to think of my next PR stunt, but I'll tell you a story. I first went to Abu Dhabi about over a year ago. I wanted to do well there. Before that, I was in Dubai. Dubai, there's lots of differences between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I'll explain that another time. But I wanted to crack Abu Dhabi. What does that mean? I wanted to understand it. Everyone had always said, Abu Dhabi is different. It's slower, it's harder. That's where all the money is. So I was like, okay, well, I'm moving my life there. In short as well, I set up a regulated fund and everything, so there was other factors to it. But I was sitting in the office, I think it was February last year, and I thought, it is quite hard here. Do you know why? Because I don't want to knock at people's doors and ask for their attention. I don't want to be one of those people. I I want to do something different. So I thought, well, how do I get the attention of the people? So at that time, we just launched our VC fund. So we were looking for deal flow. And I decided to use this guerrilla marketing tactic where I held up a cardboard sign and it said, where are all the UAE founders? I have term sheets to sign. Now, I did that in front of the ADGM brand and in the ADGM square. Now, this was something Abu Dhabi does not do. They don't do guerrilla marketing. Maybe in Dubai, but not in Abu Dhabi. It's a bit more sophisticated there. It's where the government is. It's where, obviously, the ruler and the president of the UAE is. And what happened next was I posted it on LinkedIn. Now, within a few minutes, I had the marketing team from ADGM call me up and say, Obi, I don't know where they got my number from. We need you to change something. So I obviously thought, oh my God, I need to take this down. This was not a good idea. But they said, we need to change something. And it was to do with the wording. I won't go into it, but I had to change founders to startup founders, just to make it a little bit more clearer. And shortly after that, I got a message from the chairman's office. And it said, cool, my arm aches, this camera's heavy. The chairman's office said, you got to come meet the chairman tomorrow. And I was like, oh, shit. This is it. I'm out of Abu Dhabi. I've been here 2 months and I'm gone. This amazing idea, which did very well on LinkedIn, by the way. It was like my first semi-viral post. I had to go to the chairman's office. So I walk into the chairman's office, I'm like, head down, like going, oh my God. Literally, I don't know what I was going to expect, but it just didn't sound good. Because it was something that they don't do. And I walk in, His Excellency was sitting there. It was quite a serious face at first, because we'd never met. And he then he looked at me and went, I like your post. And I was just like, oh my God, Stu. So, in short, I came up with this wacky idea that turned out to, go in my favor. Credit to the leadership, they allowed it because they said it's perfect timing. We're trying to change things in Abu Dhabi. We're trying to be a place for startups. We're trying to be a place for, things that are different. We're trying to do things different. So I got lucky with the timing. I think if it was a year before that, it would have gone down not as well. But yeah, a bit of a story behind those pieces of cardboard. It was a risk and it paid off. And I think God knows how many entrepreneurs, life is boring without taking risks, right? And that's the story of an entrepreneur. And this place is a platform for taking risks. It's an opportunity for taking risks, but you have to respect the culture. This is not my country. I am not born from the UAE. I'm not an Emirati. I from a religious heritage, I'm not from here, but I respect everything. So of course, from a business sense, I was fine, but I was always very cautious about the culture, because over here, culture is everything. It's history. It's what makes this place so lovely, so wonderful, so clean, so happy. So the last thing you want to do is disrupt that. So at the same time, take risks, but make sure you are sensible and you're respecting. Because this is maybe an opportunity, but I'm not from the UAE. My name's Obediah Ayton, and welcome to my channel.